Hello and welcome to Just Ride Bikes Awards 2022. Yes, it's that time of year again for me to name the best bikes I've ridden and reviewed over the past 12 months. And what a year for new bikes it's been. We've had amazing aero race bikes, game-changing gravel bikes, and bikes that have simply blown me away. So without further ado, let's dive in. And we'll start with road bikes and two money no object bikes that definitely blew me away, and two bikes that make me wonder if I should retrain as a dentist to be able to afford them. Firstly, the Carnago C68 is a bike that has most impressed me and most blown me away over the past year. The C series from Carnago, made in Italy of course, using a tube and lug process of manufacturing, has always offered a fantastic ride quality. And despite a big step forward and a very modern looking frame compared to what came before it, the ride quality, the handling and the geometry of this new C68 is just fantastic. Amazing balance, poise and agility that really shines on any road at any speed and makes you feel like a riding god, and just makes you want to get out and ride it again and again and again. And while the looks are definitely a departure, less obvious that it's a tube and lug frame design, it's much more modern looking and better competes with the likes of the Super 6 Evo and the Tarmac SL7. And then we have full internal K routing that in my experience has offered no issues at all, and a one-piece carbon fibre aero handlebar and stem that offers great comfort, great looks and better aerodynamics as well. I was less convinced at launch of the multi-tool hidden away inside the steering tube, but it works great and it's always there when you need it, and save putting one in your saddlebag or your jersey pocket. Another incredible masterpiece of bike design and manufacturing was the Van CRD, a brand new road bike from a US company that offered modern looks with full internal K routing, something we don't often see on titanium bikes. But while it looked modern with an aero handlebar and stem and definitely looks contemporary in a way that previous moots never did, it's a ride quality that really impressed me the most. The geometry, the responsiveness, the compliance, the smoothness, the wonderful smoothness of this bike made it a bike you ride all day, every day, and never have any complaints at all. And it's a bike that's not going to age at all and will still look good and fresh in 10 years, 20 years, or 30 years' time. But boy, was it an expensive bike, making even a C68 look like a bargain. But if you can afford it, you won't be disappointed at all. And now some worthy mentions in the road bike category, and firstly the Trek Madone SLR, one of the most divisive, opinion dividing bikes of the last 12 months. By my experience, in my hands, a bike that definitely delivered in terms of sheer speed and performance. A bike that no matter what you put into it, you got maximum speed out of it. A bike that made riding fast, easier and more enjoyable than ever before. And while that ISOFlow hole in the seat tube probably delivered marginal gains, to be fair, it definitely looked cool, a very distinctive feature, and still offered pretty good ride comfort compared to the old bike, which had of course the ice-speed decoupler, which this new bike doesn't. And in a world of bikes that look increasingly the same, a bike that stands out as the Madone SLR does is no bad thing. And so far, no concerns around durability with that very distinctive design. The brand new Cannondale Synapse, which I reviewed way back at the beginning of the year, ushered in a brand new design for this very popular and long-standing endurance bike. So big tyre clearance, a threaded bottom bracket and external seat clamp, a normal round 27.2 seat post, and an aero optimized frame design offered fantastic ride quality and performance. A endurance bike that's almost as fast as a race bike, but with maximum comfort. But on the flip side, or potentially on the downside, depending on your opinion, we had the introduction of SmartSense, an integrated battery, light and radar system built into the bike, which offered a very noble intention of improved safety when riding during the daytime or at night time, but was definitely met with a lukewarm reception, if fair to say. Definitely a technology to be developed on the Synapse platform, but for me, not enough reason to avoid buying a bike if you like a Synapse, you like the change made to a new bike, and you were impressed with the old bike. Definitely a bike I would still buy despite the SmartSense technology. It's been a big year for gravel and adventure bikes, and we're seeing the category split into racy bikes at one end of the spectrum and more adventure bikepacking options at the other end. And I've reviewed quite a few interesting bikes, but these are my standout picks. Firstly, for ultimate speed, the new Scott Addict Gravel definitely delivered. An amazing bike on the road, on gravel, with knobby tyres or road slick tyres, as I found out. Just sheer immense speed, delivers amazing responsiveness in any situation, and really good off-road as well, with big tyre clearance, mudguard mount, so great versatile option, and a geometry that definitely goes in the right direction. Not too racy, not too adventure, a real balance of all the different demands and competing requirements of a gravel and adventure bike. The Canyon Grizzle might not be the most radical or game-changing option, but compared to their previous Grail with a hover handlebar, it's a really sensible offering. Offering Canyon great value for money, bike delivered to your door, and just a bike that does what you want from a gravel and adventure bike. So big tyre clearance, really sensible geometry that works on the road and off-road, good for experienced and beginners alike. Lots of mounts for bags and bottles, and lots of build options as well. 1x, 2x drivetrains, and even the option to have a suspension fork, the RockShot Rudy, which I think is a great thing if you want to really take your gravel bike into the back of beyond and go where gravel bikes probably shouldn't go, but definitely can do with a suspension fork. There are a few worthy mentions in the gravel category, including the Giant Revolt, a really good bike that, like the Canyon Grizzle, offers great ride quality, really good comfort from that D-fuse seat post. There have been a few issues seen on the internet with cracked seat posts, but I think they got their head around that now, and I had no issue with my bike during my 6 months of testing that bike in a long-term setting. We have big tyre clearance. You can adjust the geometry for bigger or smaller tyre clearance, which is something I didn't really use that much, but it's there if you want it. Lots of mounts for bags and bottles as well. And geometry generally that works really well off-road, on very technical terrain as well, and works well on the road. Comes with slick tyres, so good on the road or smooth gravel, but a set of knobby tyres good for off-road. Just a really good value for money, really sensible, obvious pick in the gravel category. One bike that really blew me away over the past 12 months was the Specialized S-Works Crux, but boy, was it an expensive option. But what you got in return for a big bag of cash was a bike that weighed very little, one of the lightest gravel and road bikes I reviewed in the past 12 months. So it took, very successfully I reckon, the Crux CX race bike into a gravel direction. Slightly modified geometry, so a bit more gravel friendly. Massive tyre clearance, 47mm wide tyres will fit with ease, and then a super lightweight frame owing to all the development from the Athos, making this one of the lightest gravel and road bikes I reviewed over the past 12 months. And that low weight gives you amazing ride quality, a bike that just floats over any terrain, grass, roots, rocks, just floats over everything. The geometry works better away from the CX race circuit as well, so good all-round option. Just a fantastic option if you have bags and bags of cash. Most of the bikes I reviewed so far have been fairly spendy options, but there are a few value for money options definitely worth bringing your attention to. First up, the YT Scepter. So YT is a mountain bike brand and they sell direct, like Canyon, to the consumer, and they offer amazing value for money. And the Scepter is a first drop bar, gravel and adventure bike. The Scepter definitely brings a big dose of the company's mountain bike experience rather than being a road race bike with fat tyres, and a bike that really excels on very technical, very challenging terrain. We have a suspension fork, we have big tyres, we have mountain bike inspired geometry, a very short stem, big wide flared handlebars, and a dropper seat post as well. So the bike that definitely excels if you're a sort of person who wants to push a gravel bike to the absolute limit and do it without spending a fortune as well. The best value road bike of the past 12 months is the VAS R1, a super magnesium road bike from a US company that first brought out a super magnesium gravel bike about 2 years ago. So the R1 is a aero optimized road bike with a sort of endurance geometry, and thanks to the super magnesium frame material, it's a bike that offers carbon fiber levels of performance but at a price more akin to an aluminium offering. So a really good choice if you're on a budget but don't want to compromise on your performance and are happy to embrace a new frame material. The Temple Cycles road disc is definitely worth a mention in my 2022 award. Steel frames offer an amazing ride quality, compliance and smoothness, and fabulous looks as well, but can often be very expensive, especially when you have that famed Reynolds 853 badge on the seat tube. But here we have a frame and fork that doesn't cost an absolute fortune, so it gives you the option to build up your own steel road bike for a reasonable price. And it looks amazing, it rides amazing, and definitely an alternative pick if you want a good value for money road bike. 2022 has definitely been a year of big bike launches and amazing innovation or outlandish and crazy departures from the norm. And here are a few standout picks. Firstly, the Specialized Diverge STR. So we have a big step forward from the company's Diverge with a future shock first at the front, now in the seat tube with a damper within the top tube and a very special carbon fiber seat tube that sort of bends back and forth. Looks incredible, looks amazing depending on your point of view, but definitely offers a smooth ride quality than a normal gravel bike, but definitely has a big question mark over its long-term durability, and then the price is crazy eye-watering. But that said, I do applaud Specialized for being ballsy and really daring to be different. The Canyon Ultimate has always been an easy bike to recommend. When I get asked what road bike should I buy, the Canyon Ultimate is always a bike that comes easily to mind. And this new 5th generation, while it looks very similar to the old bike, does have a few nice changes, like full internal K routing, a bit of weight saving, a bit better aero. And while it's not as outlandish or radical or innovative as other new bikes being launched at the moment, it's still a bike that trades on that no-nonsense design that Canyon are famous for, and still an easy bike to recommend. Still amazing ride quality, just does what you want from a modern road bike. The other special mention is the 3T Exploro Ultra, and I have an interesting sort of love-hate relationship with the 3T Exploro. The first proper aero gravel bike launched back in 2018 or 2019, definitely delivered amazing speed when riding off-road, but the ride quality and the comfort was definitely compromised in that pursuit of speed, in my opinion. But something that definitely sought to change and improve with each iteration they've updated over the last few years, namely bigger tyre clearance and other improvements. And the Ultra is, I think, the best combination of that desire to make an aero gravel bike that offers good ride quality and comfort as well. Mostly thanks to the fact you can fit massive mountain bike tyres. It looks crazy, it looks amazing, and it rides amazing as well. Fantastic speed and much more comfort thanks to the fact we have big tyres. No suspension, but big tyres do the trick really well. And now to the best mountain bikes of the past year. And I don't review many mountain bikes on the channel as I would like to. That's something I might change next year, because you might not realise I'm actually a mountain biker at heart. I prefer mountain biking. It's my first love. Came to mountain biking in the 90s as a teenager, where I really found cycling as a sport, a hobby, a pastime, and then very soon after a job and a living, and came to road cycling a bit afterwards. But for me, mountain biking is where it's at. If I could choose one to do for the rest of my life, it would probably be mountain biking, to be honest, but I still love road cycling just as much these days. So the first bike in this category is the Scott Spark RC. Now, I love a mountain bike designed to be as fast as possible and efficient as possible at covering ground from A to B, getting around the woods on a racetrack as fast as possible. And the Scott Spark has always been a good pick in this category of super fast, lightweight bikes. And the new version with the hidden shock definitely moves the game on a big step, in my opinion. I love the innovation and the technology in the bike. That packaging of the rear shock inside the frame both look really clean and offer benefits of keeping it out of the mud, and just look incredible as well and future-proof, and makes you wonder why all our bikes don't have the rear shock hidden inside the frame as well. Definitely an interesting move, and I do predict more brands will follow this direction in the future, depending on whether patents apply or not. And where the Spark was all about absolute efficiency and speed, the brand new Canyon Spectral CFR was about using a short travel platform for delivering massive smiles and massive reward for just riding the most challenging terrain you can on a short travel bike, and shows you don't need a lot of suspension to offer amazing speed over all terrain. It's probably a bit heavy for a short travel bike, but we have meaty components and a really slack, long and low geometry that really lets you send it on the steepest, gnarly terrain, and a bike that really delivers massive reward for whatever you put into it. And definitely a bike that punches well above its category and well above its weight. Those then are the best bikes I have reviewed in 2022, and quite an interesting list, I'm sure you'll agree. I'll put links to all my full review videos down below in the description in case you want to watch those later after this video. And yes, there are a few bikes missing from this video, I know. Pinarello Dogma F, Cervelo R5, S5 and Soloist, Domani from Trek, and the Ribble Ultra Aero. Those are just some of the bikes I didn't get to ride in 2022 despite me asking for them, and despite your support in subscribing to the channel and getting me near to 100,000 subscribers. But hopefully that'll change next year. And if you want to see a video of the bikes I'm excited to ride in 2023, then watch the video right up here. And don't forget to subscribe by hitting the button right here. But that's all for today. Have a great end of year. I'll see you again next year. Thank you so much for watching.